welcome to Adventist Community Services. We developed this safety video because we value the services you provide as a volunteer or as an employee and want to ensure that you have a safe and positive experience as we prepare for and actively engage in disaster response when the need arises. Before we begin, let's take a brief look at who we are and what we do. Sherry?
Adventist Community Services provides a broad spectrum of services that include community development inner city, elder care, tutoring and mentoring, youth empowered to serve, crisis care, and disaster response. ACS Disaster Response, as a voluntary organization, works in partnership with the Federal Emergency Management Agency, which is FEMA, the Red Cross, and other government and voluntary agencies to provide assistance to individuals, families, and communities affected by natural disasters and other unforeseen tragedies. Our services include several primary elements, including the distribution of relief supplies like water, groceries, and clothing, and our multi-agency warehouses where donated goods awaiting distribution are sorted, packaged, and stored by volunteers. Community members can volunteer at our community collection centers to assist in the collection of goods that are needed in disaster response. An additional piece of our program is providing emotional and spiritual care through crisis intervention for disaster survivors, their relatives, and neighbors.
A good safety program requires a team effort. Our obligation is to provide you with the necessary training and personal protective equipment to accomplish each task safely. Yours is to perform your job safely and use any protective equipment required. ACS sorts, packs, lifts, and moves a lot of material. To prevent injuries, it is important that we perform those operations safely. The following safety tips will help you do just that.
One of the best ways to prevent injuries is to use hand trucks and carts to move materials from one point to another. When using hand trucks, keep feet clear of the wheels, balance loads carefully, and do not overload. The load rating is generally on a label on the hand truck. Keep the center of gravity as low as possible and position the load so it will not shift, slip, or fall. If necessary, use straps to secure the load. Push rather than pull materials, and do not try to navigate stairs and steep inclines with one. Move at a walking pace. When going down an incline, keep the cart in front of you and maintain control. In rare instances, you may find you need to walk backwards when going up a ramp. If your vision is obstructed, ask for a spotter to assist in guiding the load.
In some ways, pallet jack operation requires similar precautions. Keep your feet clear when operating and never exceed the load rating. Make sure the load you are planning to transfer has been properly loaded. When going down an incline, push rather than pull, and if your view is obstructed, have a coworker help guide the load. Be alert to other movement in traffic lanes and around corners. Remember, we take safety seriously at Adventist Community Services. Do not use a pallet jack for human transportation. Wear personal protective equipment when using pallet jacks. Sturdy footwear will help prevent foot injuries, while gloves reduce the risk of cuts and bruises. Safety eyewear can prevent injuries from material strapping and hazardous chemicals. Be aware of pinch point hazards to your hands and use proper lifting techniques when loading and unloading.
Proper lifting techniques will help prevent back injuries and strains. Size up your load. Be sure the item you are going to lift is within your capabilities before attempting to lift it. If it is not, ask for help. When lifting, remain facing the object you are going to lift. Keep the load close to your body and get a good grip. Place your feet about 12 inches apart and center your body over them. Keep your back straight and pull your stomach in firmly. Then lift with your legs, not your back. If you need to turn, move your feet and do not twist your back. Place heavier objects on lower shelves, and when placing objects on shelves, do not twist the body at the waist. Instead, turn the whole body facing the shelf and set the item down.
When the layout of a facility is determined, consideration is given to keeping forklift operations separate from volunteer activities as much as possible. If you are under 18, you are not allowed in any area where forklifts are operating. For those who are allowed, stay alert and use care in the warehouse and around loading docks. Forklifts are heavy, have blind spots when carrying loads, and are difficult to stop. Be alert and ready to give the forklift right away. Never walk under the forklift tines even if empty, and don't try to hitch a ride on a forklift. If you are not trained and certified by ACS management as an ACS forklift driver, never climb onto or try to operate a forklift. Serious accidents have occurred when untrained individuals attempted to operate forklifts. When loading pallets, do not place empty or partially full boxes or containers on the bottom layers. The weight of the containers on top will cause partially filled boxes to collapse and can result in injuries to personnel or damage to property. At the very least, you'll have to spend time and energy to restack the pallet. Use pallets that are sturdy and in good condition, and where possible, stretch wrap palletized products for stability. While we're on this topic, consider also the safe use of box cutters or other cutting tools. Never leave open blades on the floor or really on any surface, or cut towards yourself or others.
Statistics show that the primary cause of many on-the-job losses are from slips, trips, and falls. Good housekeeping practices will go a long way in helping to prevent them. Put out caution wet floor signs and clean up spills and tracked water immediately. Report hydraulic or oil leaks on equipment so that they can be quickly repaired. And pick up items that might cause someone to trip. If you are having trouble reaching something, go find a ladder. Never stand on boxes, chairs, racks, or shelves. It is also important to keep aisles free of storage so that the carts can be pushed safely to the next location in our process. As you look at housekeeping, ensure that materials and equipment do not block electrical panels, sprinklers, fire exits, or fire extinguishers. Good housekeeping also reduces the potential for fires. Keep areas free of trash and other similar combustible materials, and know how to respond if you see a fire in your area. In case of any emergency, whether it's a fire, medical issue, or security breach, call 911 and contact a manager. Every volunteer or employee should be aware of the location and proper use of fire extinguishers. If the fire is small, about the size of a trash can fire, and an extinguisher can put it out, have someone call 911 and sound the evacuation alarm. At the same time, someone should use the pass system to extinguish the fire. Pull the pin at the top of the extinguisher. Aim at the base of the fire, the primary fuel source. Squeeze the lever slowly. Sweep the extinguishing agent from side to side until the fire is completely out. No attempt should be made to put out a fire that is beyond the potential of extinguishing with an extinguisher. All efforts should remain on evacuation.
While you may not be required to use a ladder a lot, a few important points need to be made regarding ladder safety. First and foremost, choose the correct ladder for the job. Aluminum ladders conduct electricity and are not to be used when working on electrical apparatus. Aluminum ladders can be safely used to place items on shelves and for other similar activities. Make sure the ladder is in good condition, without loose or missing rungs. Place it in a location that prevents overreaching, and ensure that the crossbars are locked and the ladder is firmly seated on a stable, level surface. Face the ladder when climbing and when coming down, and always try to keep 3 points in contact with the ladder at all times, either 2 hands and 1 foot or both feet and 1 hand. Never climb higher than the 2nd rung from the top on a step ladder, or the 3rd rung from the top on a straight ladder. Balance is maintained best by keeping your body within the center line of the ladder, between the side rails. Never reach too far to pick up an object. Do not carry objects or loads that could cause loss of balance and falling, and never put tools or loose objects in your pockets when working above ground, as those objects could fall out and injure someone. Additional training on proper setup, securing, and safe use will be provided if straight or extension ladders are required in your job. With any type of ladder, never have more than one person on the ladder at a time.
Many chemicals may have hazardous properties that, if used improperly, can lead to injuries. We maintain an inventory of all hazardous chemicals on site and have material safety data sheets for each chemical. It is important that you are aware of all hazards associated with a chemical, how to use it safely, what personal protective equipment must be worn, and emergency first aid procedures if an incident occurs. Additional training can be provided related to specific chemical hazards and material safety data sheets. We will provide all necessary cleaning supplies, maintenance chemicals, insecticides, and other chemicals as needed. Please do not bring any of your own chemicals into an ACS facility. When working with some chemicals and equipment, personal protective equipment, or PPE as it is often referred to, must be worn to prevent injuries. Wear your PPE at all times when required by the task being performed. While sorting donations, it may be necessary to use gloves and a mask.
Because of the hazards involved, leave electrical repairs to the professional electricians. Where you can help is to immediately discontinue use of and report defective plugs, damaged wiring, and electrical cords. When working with any mechanical equipment, it is important to pay attention to the job at hand and to avoid distractions. To prevent injuries, keep fingers clear of the sealing bar of bag sealers. Do not immerse any equipment or its plug or wiring in water or other liquids. Before operating any equipment, you must go through training to ensure that you know how to safely operate it. Unfortunately, statistics show that even trained operators have been seriously injured when they attempted to operate equipment without the safety guards in place. If guards must be removed for any reason, they must be reinstalled before turning the equipment on.
In disaster operations, it is easy to think that you should work long hours and not take breaks in order to meet the needs of disaster survivors. In fact, it is imperative that you get enough sleep, take necessary breaks, regularly eat balanced meals, and drink adequate amounts of fluids. Accidents can occur when individuals cannot focus due to lack of sleep, food, or water.
We have talked about a variety of safety issues in this program. We also have other specific safety programs you may be required to take based on your job assignments. Do not perform any task until you have been told how to safely perform the operation and have been approved by a supervisor.
Remember, working safely requires everyone to remain alert for hazards. Avoid horseplay and daydreaming, and walk, don't run, regardless of where you are working. Take adequate time to accomplish your job, as rushing can result in injuries. If you see a hazard in your work area or operations, or have a question regarding safety or other issues, please contact a manager or safety officer. Your input may prevent an injury to you or another volunteer or employee. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you.